So since the start of February, they are 7-15, and like you just said, they have no injuries. So it's kind of weird whatever's going on over there. Their
Yeah.
preseason projected win total was set at 46.5 games, and it's seeming like they
Yep.
might miss the play-in. Do you
Yeah.
think that the Suns are going to try to actually go on a run, or are they going to tank here?
Well, the coach and the owner want them to go on a run. I think the players might be over it.
Yeah,
I think that
KD,
the
every time
players,
I see him, just seems more and more pissed these days.
KD doesn't seem happy. Coach Bud told Devin Booker basically to shut up the other day. That didn't go over well. I mean, they are not trying at all on the defensive end. Luka was mic'd up against the Suns, and Luka just said kind of in passing, I've never had so many open looks in my life. Luka been playing professional basketball since he's 15. He's like, this is the worst defense I've ever seen. And LeBron wasn't even out there to open stuff up. And so, but the Suns, I don't know that this is a hot take. The Suns are in the worst position moving forward of any team in the league. Because Matt Ishbia came in and bought the team and traded away everything for Kevin Durant, and then traded away everything they had left for Bradley Beal. Beal has a no trade and is not good. Durant is approaching 37 and not going to get you a ton in return and is gone this summer. And then you have Devin Booker, who's a real asset, but it doesn't really make sense to trade Booker because you would then be tanking, and you don't, Demonte, they do not have their own pick until 2032. 2032. It's 2025. So they traded their picks away, and then they swapped picks, and then as part of the Beal trade, they swapped the swaps. This is like a mortgage crisis, but in the NBA. So they, over the next 7 drafts, they either simply give their pick away, or they are in a 3-way swap with other teams, where of the 3 teams, they get the worst draft pick. So even if they're the worst team in the league, that doesn't help them. Right. And they traded away most of their second round picks. So it was, again, I used to, this is, sorry for all these kind of non sequiturs. Today's a show, I'm going to be totally honest. Today's a show that is not necessarily going to go viral for a lot of things, but real folks that are real what's right, or as awkward as this is to say, like Nick Wright fans, are going to really be enjoying today. Because we talked hard cap, soft cap. I did my March Madness rant. I'm now going to talk about Ted Stepien for a second. So Ted Stepien was an owner in the NBA in the 80s. And he was so bad and so disastrous for the Cavs. The NBA made a rule that's called the Stepien rule that's about how many draft picks you can and cannot trade. You can't trade draft picks in consecutive years. That's why teams have to I'll trade you my 25 and my 27, because you can't just trade away all your picks. And you can only trade draft picks like 6 years out, 7 years out. Those are the rules they put in to prevent an owner from just destroying a team. And there has been a lot of frustration from GMs since then of like, man, I would like full flexibility to, run my team as I see fit and not have these guardrails in there. And I think at one point there was a little momentum in the league, like, all right, we're not in the tape delayed era of the 80s. It's smarter people running the teams. It's big money. Maybe we don't need to, have these guardrails in. And then Matt Ishbia came along and is like, Ted Stepien, hold my beer. Yeah. I'm going to show you. I'm going to speed run, absolutely wrecking a decade of a team that, again, the Suns, right before he took over, made the finals and then were the number one seed, 64 win or 60 some win team. And then Luka eviscerated them. And then they trade for KD. Then they trade for Beal. And now they're just ruined. Absolutely ruined to a point to where even though the Mavericks are 2-8 in their last 10, don't have any healthy players, their fans have turned on them, the Mavericks still have a cushion in the standings. It's really a remarkable, remarkable turn of events. This episode of What's Right is brought to you by Daya Pizza, featuring dairy-free cheese made with their new Daya Oat Cream Blend. Dairy-free cheese has come a long way. Daya's leading the charge. Their pizzas offer the melt and stretch of traditional cheese without any dairy. Each Daya pizza starts with a perfectly crisp crust, layered with savory, satisfying toppings, and finished with cheese that melts and stretches beautifully. The Daya Oat Cream Blend delivers a creamy, cheesy texture that's indistinguishable from dairy-based options. Every pizza is crafted to be dairy-free, making it a great choice for anyone seeking more inclusive meal options without compromising on taste. Daya takes the concept of dairy-free to a new level, eliminating faux mou. That is not the fear of cows. That is the fear of missing dairy. These pizzas deliver delicious taste and texture, making them perfect for any occasion, from casual dinners to game day spreads. Enjoy a faux mou free pizza night with Daya. Visit DayaFoods.com for more information or find Daya Pizza at retailers like Whole Foods, Kroger, and Walmart. Coming soon to select Publix and Sprouts. Follow Daya on Instagram and TikTok for more updates and recipes.
Month away from the playoffs, who do you see avoiding the play-in?
So this is where our friends at Tankathon are super helpful. So where we can look at most difficult or easiest strength of schedule left. So as a for instance, Phoenix, who we're going to get to in a minute, has far and away the hardest schedule remaining. Phoenix has games left against the Cavs, the Thunder, 2 against Boston, the Knicks, the Rockets, and the Warriors, with only 2 layup games, the Spurs and the Bulls. So Phoenix, if they were fighting for something, you'd be like, oh, they're in rough shape. Here's why it matters. Minnesota has the 3rd easiest schedule remaining. Minnesota, now it's a bad loss last night, but Minnesota, the teams they're up against have a combined winning percentage of .430. And they have games remaining against New Orleans, 2 of them, the Jazz, 2 against the Nets, 1 against the Sixers. So you have 5 games remaining. No, I'm sorry, 2 against New Orleans, 2 against the Nets, 1 Sixers, 1 Jazz. 6 games remaining against teams that actively want to lose. So that's super helpful for Minnesota. The Warriors are right at league average as far as their schedule remaining. Their easiest games are New Orleans, Toronto, 2 against San Antonio, Miami, and Portland. Here's why it's, to me, somewhat noteworthy. That's they as far as teams that want to lose, it's really only 4 for the Warriors as far as the games they have left, and it's 6 for Minnesota. So that plays in Minnesota's favor significantly. That Minnesota has 2 fewer games left than Golden State. They have 1 more loss than Golden State. When I heard Steve Kerr say, Steph's worn down, and that essentially we're going to take care of Steph down the stretch and rest him tonight, against Milwaukee. Now, the Warriors don't have many. In fact, they only have 2 back-to-backs left. They have a back-to-back at the Lakers and then home for the Nuggets, and then they have a back-to-back a week later at Phoenix and then home for San Antonio. Right now, and this is not going to be where Vegas would have it, but right now, I would anticipate that the Western Conference standings, and mark this down and let's see how this ages, but I think the Western Conference standings are going to end up Minnesota 6, Golden State 7, Clippers 8, with the Kings being the 9 seed, and then that 10 seed being just the saddest competition ever between Dallas and Phoenix. Just two teams who did not ever think this is where they were going to end up, but it's where they have ended up. And I think it's one of the reasons.
Earlier, actually, Dallas might.
What's that? Might need you. Oh yeah. Well, they
Mavericks.
might have to forfeit games.
Yeah.
So if people don't understand the forfeiting games thing with the Mavs, let me explain it. This is super nerdy, but I'll do my best to explain it. The NBA has okay. I'm going to have to talk about a few things here. Hard cap, soft cap. Okay? Hard cap is the NFL, where the salary cap is a number, and you must, from the first day of the league year until the last day of the league year, be under it at all times. You cannot go $1 over the hard cap. Now, because of the way NFL contracts are structured, you can always manipulate that year's cap, guys' cap figures, by turning salaries into signing bonuses, spreading them out over multiple years, so it can feel like a soft cap at times. But the cap is the cap, and however you need to manipulate it, you can manipulate your own guys' salaries, but you can't ever be over it. That's why the NFL doesn't have things like a luxury tax, because a luxury tax is for a soft capped sport like the NBA, where we have a cap, but you can go over it for various reasons. You can go way over it at times. You just pay a penalty in luxury tax. And one of the reasons the NBA kind of has to work like that is because NBA player contracts are guaranteed for the most part. You can't really manipulate a player's contract like, oh, we're turning your salary into a signing bonus. It's not how it works. So they need a soft cap. Except, and of course, there are certain things NBA teams can do transactionally, which triggers an actual hard cap. So if you're an apron team and do a sign and trade, all of a sudden you have a hard cap. If there's certain things, we need Bobby Marks to really explain all of it. But there are certain things that can happen where, oh no, now you do have an NFL-style hard cap. The Mavs are a team with a hard cap. So here's why you're hearing about the Mavs potentially having to forfeit games. You must have 8 healthy players ready and able to play. The Mavs are close to exhausting their limit on two-way guys from their G League team that can call up, send down, call up, and send down. They have had all these injuries. And because of the hard cap, DeMonze, they are not allowed to sign another minimum player. They can't go over the hard cap. They are running out of two-way guys eligibility. Even they are so close to the hard cap, they don't have the space for another minimum guy. They can't sign their version of an Alex Lynn. Just be like, hey, come off the street and play for us.
Yeah.
So
to be a perfect situation for Bronny, right?
Oh yeah, or for any young player or any draft pick, right, to get some burn. But they suited up 8 healthy guys the other day.
Yeah.
So it would be. I've never, in my life watching the NBA, I've never seen a team have to forfeit games because they didn't have eligible players.
It's very weird.
It would be kind of the crowning achievement of what has been 6 weeks of just a fever dream of terror for Mavs fans. Starting with the Luka trade, then
Kyrie.
the added pain of AD getting hurt, then
Oh,
the
yeah,
real
AD too.
pain of Kyrie blowing out his knee, then the like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Quentin Grimes all of a sudden is a star player in this league. We gave him away for Caleb Martin for no reason whatsoever. And now we're going to have to maybe forfeit games. Unprecedented. Just unprecedented. But flip side of that is AD's ramping up and they might make the playoffs or the play-in over the damn Suns, who desperately want to win and are incredibly healthy.